In America's power arena, who wins the game?
It started with an insult at 9:47 a.m., delivered with the effortless venom of a man who thought himself invincible. "Senator Kennedy," Adam Schiff declared, his voice booming with the polished flair of countless cable news hits, "represents everything wrong with modern governance, a deliberate act of folksy ignorance, masking either real incompetence or, worse, a willful dodge of serious oversight." The hearing room, crammed with reporters hungry for fireworks over mundane judicial nominations, fell into that eerie Washington hush, the kind that signals blood in the water. Schiff wasn't just sparring with a colleague, he was carving him up like a public spectacle, words sharp as scalpels, designed to scar deep. He kept going, reveling in the momentum, phone aloft to snag every second for his 2.3 million followers, the loyal army that had crowned him a resistance icon. We're here debating grave matters of judicial fitness, and I can't help wondering if my colleague from Louisiana possesses the mental horsepower to grasp the constitutional stakes. Perhaps, and I mean this with real worry, the Senate Intelligence Committee could use members who got their education in this century, not some dusty mail-order course that birthed Senator Kennedy's bizarre take on jurisprudence. Kennedy sat stock-still, his reading glasses teetering on his nose's tip, a yellow legal pad sprawled before him, scribbled with what looked like doodles of crawfish and maybe a gator. His rumpled brown suit, seemingly picked to play into every coastal cliché Schiff was dredging up, hung loose like it had survived too many red-eye flights. When he glanced up, his face showed only mild intrigue, as if Schiff were chatting about the weather, not shredding his core competence. That feigned nonchalance only fueled Schiff. He'd prepped this takedown the night before with his comms crew, pegging Kennedy as prime prey. His down-home drawl screamed vulnerability. His southern twang fed elite biases about smarts. Humiliating him publicly would spotlight Schiff's courtroom chops. The live stream was spiking. 50,000 viewers, then 100,000, skyrocketing. "I've pored over Senator Kennedy's past hearing questions," Schiff pressed, now mugging fully for his phone cam over the actual room. "They play like a satire of legal thought, folksy yarns posing as constitutional wisdom, grandma tales subbing for real jurisprudence. Folks watching, this is what you get when we elect showmen over serious stewards." Kennedy muttered something like, "These fancy phones sure are tricky," just loud enough for the mic to snag, then dove back into his sketches. C-SPAN cams zoomed for his reaction, catching zilch but a guy more fixated on his pad than his own roast. But if those lenses could have zoomed tighter, piercing the act to the core, they'd spot a spark in Kennedy's eyes, a calculated gleam, the quiet poise of a prosecutor who'd just gotten the confession he craved. Before him, half hidden under his arm, lay 5 manila folders, each tagged in his tidy script. Russia collusion, FISA memo, whistleblower, media appearances, and simply censure. He'd bided his time for 3 years, watching Schiff hog headlines, peddle phantom evidence, wield power for story over substance. Kennedy wasn't wired for vengeance. His Baptist roots shunned it. But accountability? That was gospel. Public trust breached demanded public fix. So he dug deep. Not politicians skim, but prosecutors grind. Transcripts devoured, clips dissected, claims cross-checked against declassified truths. He'd waited, knowing patience packed punch, and the longer Schiff strutted untouchable, the harder the crash. Schiff was still monologuing, his pitch swelling with drama. The American people deserve better than senators who figure constitutional law via bayou fishing yarns. They deserve reps who can split serious policy from viral performance art aimed at the least clued-in crowds. Chairman Lindsey Graham, gavel in hand, squirmed. Even D.C.'s theater norms had lines, and Schiff was stomping them. But before Graham could rein it in, Kennedy finally piped up, his Louisiana lilt rapping every word like neighborly chat. "Mr. Chairman," he said, eyes glued to his pad, "I sure do appreciate the congressman's fire. It's downright inspiring when folks care so deep about stuff, even if that fire sometimes laps ahead of facts." He finished sketching what seemed like a tiny turtle, eyed it approvingly, then eased off his readers and fixed on Schiff for the first time. The shift was subtle but electric. The aw-shucks lawyer vibe lingered, but his gaze hinted at hidden depths, the sort where gators lurk for overconfident swimmers. "Since we're jawing about smarts and brainpower," Kennedy drawled, "and seeing as the congressman's been gracious enough to comb through my old questions, I reckon he'd humor me by letting me sift through some of his past jaw flappers. I promised to keep it snappy, though I did tote a heap of homework." He tapped the 5 folders with a finger. "See, I've been hitting the books too. Not that mail-order kind, though I thank the congressman for frettin' over my schoolin'. Nah, this here's what my Oxford profs called primary source diggin'. Tedious as all get out. Transcripts, old videos, public claims up against declassified dirt, the sort of grind that keeps a plain old country lawyer occupied on them long D.C. nights, sans decent fishin'." Schiff's grin twitched, just a flicker. Kennedy's tone had morphed, a nuance most folks might miss, but any courtroom vet would clock as the pivot from chit-chat to cross-exam. "In fact," Kennedy added, cracking the first folder with measured care, "since the congressman's quizzed my grip on constitutional stuff, maybe we could chat about his own tango with truth, evidence, and the duties of headin' the House Intelligence Committee. That fair, Mr. Chairman? I figure it's tied to this competence and oversight talk." Graham, sniffing both bedlam and inevitability, just nodded. "Proceed, Senator Kennedy." Kennedy beamed that disarming grin, the one that had lulled endless witnesses into complacency over his 30-year legal run. "Well then, Congressman Schiff, let's chew on Russia." The word Russia dangled heavy, packed with 3 years of national rifts, endless news loops, and the gravity of assertions that had warped U.S. politics in deep, toxic ways. Schiff's face slid from bold assurance to wary caution, the gut check of a prosecutor suddenly staring down the barrel. Kennedy fished a single page from his first folder, holding it at arm's length like his specs weren't cutting it up close. "Now, I want to make darn sure I got this straight, 'cause as the congressman noted, I'm a tad slow sometimes. On March 22nd, 2017, you popped up on NBC's Meet the Press. Ring a bell?" "I made heaps of appearances," Schiff replied, his tone the careful neutral of someone schooled to yield zero ground. "I was doing my duty, keeping folks clued in on grave counter-intel stuff." Of course," Kennedy nodded, all sympathetic vibes. "Heavy load, I'm sure. Let me jog your memory on this one." He fumbled with a tablet, nearly fumbling it, catching it with a sheepish chuckle, and hooked it to the room's screens. "My staff showed me how to wrangle this gizmo. Amazin' what tech can do these days." The display sparked to life. Schiff from 7 years back, facing Chuck Todd, face solemn with unspoken secrets. Kennedy hit play, and Schiff's voice echoed, "Chuck, I can tell you that the case is more than circumstantial. I have seen evidence that is not yet public that clearly shows coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian operatives. The evidence is quite damning, and I believe the American people will be shocked when they finally see the full picture." Kennedy froze it, peering up with honest-to-good bafflement. "More than circumstantial? That's stout talk. In legal lingo, That means direct proof, right? Eyewitnesses, papers, tapes, that sort of thing? The evidence was compelling in context. Schiff started. Kennedy raised a polite hand. Oh, we'll circle to context, promise. But first, let's nail what you said. You told Mr. Todd, and the whole country through him, that you'd seen evidence, more than circumstantial, quite damning. That's what you said, yes or no? In the context of what I'd seen then, yes or no, Congressman? Kennedy's voice stayed soft, but edged like a honed blade. The trap's simplicity snapped shut. In substance, yes. Kennedy fished another sheet. Now, let's see. That was March 2017. Here's you on CNN in April 2017. We have evidence of collusion in plain sight. May 2017, MSNBC. There is direct evidence of deception, and it points to coordination with Russian intelligence. June 2017, ABC News. The Trump campaign colluded with Russia, and I've seen the proof. He peered up, all innocent curiosity. Congressman, I tally, and correct me if my crew's diggin' was off, 73 TV spots between March 2017 and March 2019, where you spun some yarn about seeing evidence of collusion 73 times. That's a mess of evidence spottin'. Reporters weren't casual anymore. This wasn't D.C. drama, it was demolition. Several clocked Kennedy's playbook from his treasurer days, where oversight grilled crooks into confessions. The Aw Shucks Act masked a prosecutorial snare taking shape. I stood by my take based on the intel I had, Schiff said, defensive bite creeping in. Unlike some in Congress, I took foreign meddlin' dead serious. Oh, I'm sure you did. Serious as a heart attack, Kennedy agreed, all accord. So serious you hit TV 73 times to warn folks. Admirable. But here's what stumps me. He yanked a thick stack, blue-bound. These are the House Intelligence Committee's closed-door interview transcripts, all 53. Classified when you were TV starrin', but declassified now. Funny about declassification, lets rubes like me peek at what went down behind locked doors. He flipped to a yellow-tabbed page. This is James Clapper, Director of National Intelligence under Obama. Your grill of him, January 2017. Want to hear what he said? Schiff's jaw locked. Those transcripts gotta be seen in full context. Context? Yep. You keep harping on that. Let's provide some. Kennedy read, voice dry as court docs. Question from you, Congressman Schiff. Director Clapper, based on all the intelligence you've reviewed, do you have evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy between the Trump campaign and Russian officials? Answer from Director Clapper. No. I mean, not to my knowledge. I never saw any direct empirical evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting or conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. The room's hush deepened. Kennedy glanced up. That was January 2017, Congressman, 2 months before your Meet the Press bit, claiming more than circumstantial evidence. But the DNI, overlording all 17 agencies, told you under oath he'd never seen such proof. How do you square that? The intelligence community was still probing. Let's talk probing times then. Kennedy tab-flipped. Here's John Brennan, CIA Director under Obama, May 2017. That's after your Meet the Press. Your question, Director Brennan, do you have evidence of conspiracy or coordination between Trump campaign officials and Russian intelligence? His answer, I don't know if such collusion existed. I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign. But whether that constitutes collusion is a question that will be answered by the investigation. Kennedy plunked the transcript. So the CIA chief told you under oath in classified session he didn't know if collusion existed. Yet, You were on TV that month saying you'd seen coordination evidence. Were you seeing intel the CIA boss wasn't? Or were you spouting stuff on TV you knew didn't hold water? Schiff's face paled to TV-ready ash. His social media squad in the gallery had quit live tweeting. The stream count was climbing, but comments flipped from cheer to challenge. The intelligence pros were still investigating, Schiff tried again. Investigating? Let's see how that wrapped. Kennedy hauled another doc, official seals gleaming. This is the Mueller report, April 2019. 2 years probing, $40 million burned, 2,800 subpoenas, 500 witnesses grilled. Surely that backed your claims, right? He tabbed to a red-marked page. Let me read from Volume 1, page 2. The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Pretty clear, huh? Did not establish, not couldn't prove beyond doubt, not skimpy evidence, but did not establish. Legal speak for didn't find it. Kennedy shut the report with a snap. So here's my head-scratcher, and maybe you can unravel it. Intel chiefs said no evidence. Mueller's mega-probe didn't establish coordination. Yet you hit TV 73 times telling America you'd seen proof. He paused, silence stretching uncomfortable. Where I hail from, Congressman, when folks claim they've seen something that ain't there, we got a word for it. Polite ones, mistaken. Accurate ones, lying. The room detonated. Reporters hollering questions, flashes popping. Democratic members swapping glances like they were plotting bail or defense. Schiff's face flushed red and white, knuckles white gripping the table. How dare you, he sputtered. Kennedy waved a mild hand. Oh, I dare, Congressman. I dare 'cause you kicked off this morning quizzing my smarts, my schooling, my fitness to serve. You made it personal, so let's get personal. He cracked the second folder, care, deliberate. Since we're on competence and ethics, maybe we can chew on your FISA memo, the one where you claimed Devin Nunes's was bunk. 'Cause I've got the underlying FISA apps right here, full declassified now. And I reckon folks deserve knowing who was straight about FISA abuse. The topic switch was tactical. Kennedy knew a reeling witness cracked wider under fresh assault. He laid two docs side by side, House Intel seals glaring. For folks tuning in who forgot the backstory, Kennedy drawled, like Sunday school explaining knots. February 2018. Chairman Devin Nunes drops a memo claiming big abuses in FBI's FISA warrants on Carter Page, Trump campaign guy. Memo lists specific gripes on FBI misleading the court. He tapped the first. This here's that memo. 4 pages of pointed charges. And quick as a wink, you, Congressman Schiff, pen your own, saying Nunes's is false, misleading, and quoting you, a dangerous misrepresentation that serves only to undermine the FBI and Justice Department. Kennedy peered up, all innocent query. You recall writing that? Held a presser, hit multiple shows, said Nunes was lying, a partisan hack, folks being hoodwinked. Recall saying those? The Nunes memo was indeed a partisan doc aimed at undermining legit probe, Schiff started. Kennedy cut mild. We'll hit partisan soon. First, truth. He hauled a thicker tome, hundreds of pages. This is the full Carter Page FISA app, declassified 2020. All 412 pages. I've read it, Congressman. Thrice, you? The question seemed harmless, but Kennedy's tone hinted snare. Schiff paused, and in that beat, Kennedy read his answer. I'll take that as no, Kennedy said mild. Well, I have not once, thrice, and I did more. Matched every Nunes claim to the app. Want to hear what I found? No, wait for yes. Nunes's first biggie. FBI didn't tell FISA court the Steele dossier, key warrant basis, was funded by DNC and Clinton campaign. Nunes said that omission was grave. Judges should have known. Kennedy tab-flipped the app. Your memo said Nunes wrong. FBI disclosed political origins. Let me quote yours. The FBI properly disclosed to the court the political motivation behind the research. That's what you wrote. Yes or no? In substance, yes. No buts yet. Let's see what the app really says. Kennedy read, voice legal dry. The FBI footnote on dossier. Source number 1 was approached by an identified U.S. person who indicated to source number 1 that a U.S.-based law firm had hired the identified U.S. person to conduct research regarding candidate number 1's ties to Russia. He glanced up. That's it, Congressman. Full disclosure. No DNC mention. No Clinton campaign. No Perkins Coie, the firm reppin' Clinton. No Glenn Simpson of Fusion GPS, the identified U.S. person. It's worded so vague and twisty, FISA judges couldn't grok the political bent. Kennedy's tone edged. So Nunes was right. FBI didn't properly disclose. But your memo said he was wrong. Why? The judges got enough info to... Sufficient? Kennedy hauled another doc. This is Inspector General Michael Horowitz's FISA abuse report, December 2019. Quote, the FBI failed to inform the FISA court of the full extent of the political motivations behind the Steele dossier. That's the IG, Congressman. An Obama pick, independent prober. He said, Nunes, you're right, you wrong. He plunked it. But let's keep going. Nunes also claimed FBI used media reports to back Steele dossier, when Steele fed those reports. Circular reportin'. Can't use Article A to prove Source B when B leaked to A. Kennedy highlighted app section. Your memo said false. FBI had independent backup. But look, app cites Yahoo News by Michael Isikoff as dossier corroboration. And Horowitz on that Yahoo piece? He read another. The FBI was aware that Steele had spoken to the press, including Yahoo News reporter Michael Isikoff, and that Steele's reporting was the basis for Isikoff's article. Nevertheless, the FBI included the Yahoo News article in the FISA application as corroboration without informing the court that the article was based on Steele's own information. Kennedy peered up. Again, Nunes right. You wrong. FBI did circular reportin', but your memo said he lied. Why? The room's quiet was tomb-like. Kennedy wasn't just saying Schiff wrong. He was proven with docs Schiff deliberately twisted truth. But it gets worse, Kennedy pressed, yanking more pages. You didn't just write a misleading memo. You edited testimony transcripts before releasing them public. Schiff jolted. That's absolutely false. Is it? Kennedy held 2 transcript versions. This is original of ex-FBI General Counsel James Baker's testimony to your committee. This, the version you released. Spot any diffs? He read original. Question from your committee. Did the FBI verify the Steele dossier before using it in the FISA application? Baker's answer. To my knowledge, we did not verify most of the specific allegations in the dossier prior to including it in the FISA application. Kennedy glanced up. Clear as day, FBI's own counsel said they didn't verify. But here's your edited take. To my knowledge, we followed our standard verification procedures regarding the information in the FISA application. The room gasped audible. Kennedy accused Schiff not just of memo lies, but testimony tamper. A graver sin. You changed did not verify to followed standard verification procedures, Kennedy said, fury controlled. Changed failure confession to success claim. That's not editing for classification, Congressman. That's evidence falsification. He hauled more. Here's another. FBI attorney Kevin Kleinsmith testified on altering an email to flip its meaning. Original transcript. He admits, I changed the email because I thought the original meaning would undermine our FISA application. But your edited. I modified the email to clarify what I believed was the correct information. Kennedy's voice shook. Kleinsmith pled guilty to falsifying that email, Congressman, admitted crime in federal court. But you flipped his confession to justification. Why? 'Cause you couldn't let folks know FBI lied to FISA court, 'cause that'd mean Nunes right. You wrong. He rose, slight frame towering. Do you get what you've done? Didn't just lie about Russia. Didn't just mislead in your memo. Altered witness testimony. Falsified congressional records. Obstructed folks' right to know gov ops. Kennedy's tone thundered. Where I come from, when a prosecutor falsifies evidence, they don't lose the case. They lose license, freedom. 'Cause we know process integrity trumps any outcome. He gathered docks slow. But you figured you were above it, huh? Thought 'cause your cause was noble, stoppin' Trump, guardin' institutions, whatever self-talk. You skipped rules. Thought you could lie, cheat, falsify, 'cause you were on history's right side. Kennedy leaned in. Well, Congressman, history's caught you. Every lie, altered doc, witness twist, public now, declassified, readable by all. Folks can judge. He straightened. You know the real tragedy? Ain't just you lied. It's you lied so slick, millions still buy what Mueller debunked. You wrecked faith in intel agencies, wrecked faith in institutions, wrecked good folks' ability to disagree fair. Kennedy cracked the third folder. But we ain't done, Congressman. Not by a long shot, 'cause those 73 TV spots weren't just about Russia, were they? You turned them into a biz model. Shall we chat your media empire, how you cashed in on your lies? Schiff's attorney tugged his arm, but Schiff, defiant or dazed, shook free. Kennedy dove in. Let's start simple. Your financial disclosures, public record. He hauled forms spanning years. 2016, pre-Intel ranking member, income about $225,000, congressional pay plus skimpy book royalties from your old novel. Fair? Schiff silent, jaw locked. Take as yes. Now 2017, the year you kicked off Russia media blitz. Another form. Income jumps to $574,000, $349,000 spike in 1 year. Where from? Kennedy answered self. Speakin' fees, 27 paid gigs in 2017, each $10,000 to $40,000. Nothing wrong with paid talks. Lots do it. But let's see who paid. Detailed list. The Resistance Fund, $30,000. Americans for Constitutional Democracy, $25,000. Democratic Alliance, $35,000. Glance up. Pattern? Every org anti-Trump born. And gig dates? Finger down list. March 15th, 2017. 5 days post first big TV claim on collusion evidence. April 3rd, 2017, 2 days after TV round. May 8th, 2017, same week you hit 6 shows. See the thread, Congressman? You'd drop TV bombshells, then anti-Trump groups pay you big to speak. Kennedy leaned in. That ain't public service. That's biz. Weren't informin' folks. Performin' for payin' crowd. Those fees properly disclosed. Followed House ethics, Schiff voiced. Oh, disclosed, sure. Ain't accusin' disclosure dodge. Accusin' worse. Financial stake in lyin' to folks. Every TV claim on collusion spiked your fees. Every Trump attack drew more orgs wantin' your talk. Direct buck interest in keeping Russia collusion alive. Evidence be damned. More docs. But fees just start. Let's hit your book deal. March 2019, Random House contract for Trump-Russia book. Advance, $1.2 million. Heap for a book, specially from publisher knowing your collusion claims, Mueller debunked. Contract up. But check this clause. Advance tiered with escalating pays tied to benchmarks. $300,000 sign-in, $400,000 manuscript drop. Final $500,000 only if book sells 100,000 plus first month. Set down. What sells 100,000 first month? Book telling folks what they crave, confirming biases, keeping Russia collusion alive, despite proven false. 500,000 reasons to lie on, huh? Schiff's face read white. That book, honest account of, let's see, honest. Kennedy hauled hardcover. Read it, Congressman, all 300 pages. Fascinating. Spend 17 pages claiming Mueller report did find collusion evidence, if folks read between lines. Quote, page 277, The Mueller report, properly understood, reveals a pattern of coordination that, while falling short of criminal conspiracy, represents a profound betrayal of American interests. Book thump. Properly understood? Nice. Means ignore Mueller's words. Buy my spin. Asking readers, trust your take over Mueller's. Despite Mueller's 2 years, $40 million versus your 2 years TV claiming unprovable stuff. Another doc. But book deal ain't even juiciest of your Russia biz. Let's talk your PAC, Americans for Progress, founded 2017. First year raise, $17 million. More than most Prez campaigns snag startin'. Where from? Per PAC filings, 94% small dollar donors, under 200s, no name disclose. Glance up. Ain't saying illegal. Sure donations reported. But donors? Folks believe in Russia stole 2016. Believe in Trump Russian asset. Believe in 'cause UTV told 'em, over and over, knowing evidence short. Kennedy's tone, angry genuine. Raised $17 million from lied-to folks, Congressman. Built war chest on backs of trusting Americans. He hauled email prints. These fundraising emails your campaign sent. Here's May 2019, 1 month post-Mueller. Despite mainstream media says, evidence of Trump's Russia collusion overwhelming. Adam Schiff seen it. Needs your help expose. Donate now. Fundraising off lie. Congressman, deliberate. Kennedy tallied slow. Speak in fees. About $850,000 over 3 years. Book advance, $1.2 million. PAC, $43 million over 4 cycles. Campaign, $28.2 million over 2. Over $70 million to you or your orgs, all on Russia collusion narrative you knew false. He fixed Schiff. Didn't just lie. Profited big. Turned intel chair into money machine. Product? False hope to trusters. The room stunned. Reporters shaken by incentive scope Kennedy bared. But here's what really galls, Kennedy said, voice whisper. Don't think you started lying deliberate. Think it kicked with real Russia meddlin' worry. Legit. But then you saw attention from dramatic claims. MSNBC, CNN bookings, fees rollin', fundraising rocket. Pause. And sometime, maybe can't recall, you made truth less vital than narrative. 'Cause narrative made you rich, famous, powerful. When evidence didn't back claims, didn't tweak claims, just said evidence classified, or knew unshareable things, or Mueller missed. Kennedy's tone fury. That's corruption, Congressman. Not illegal. You're sharp. Moral kind. Worse, harder prosecute, easier see. Corrupted self, one TV spot at a time. One fee, one email, till couldn't recall truth. He cracked fourth folder. Which brings our ride's end today, Congressman. Covered Russia lies, FISA falsify, fear profit, whistleblower orchestrate. But one more. Your own crew's take on you. Your censure. Schiff's attorney tugged, but Schiff, defiant or doomed, shook head. He'd ride to bitter end. Kennedy opened fifth single doc. This House Resolution 521, June 14, 2023. Censuring and condemning Adam B. Schiff, representative of California's 28th Congressional District. Familiar? Schiff, jaw tight, silent. Let me read bits, Kennedy. Whereas Adam Schiff abused privileged access to classified information and position as chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence to spread false information regarding alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Whereas Adam Schiff made numerous false claims, including that the Trump campaign colluded with Russia and that he had seen clear evidence of such collusion. Whereas Adam Schiff made false statements regarding his prior knowledge of and contact with a whistleblower before that individual filed a complaint. Glance up. Goes 3 more pages, Congressman. 3 pages of documented lies your housemates felt duty-bound to record. And June 21, 2023 passed. House censured you. Kennedy let sink. You and backers spun as partisan payback, punished for Trump's stand. But let's see vote. Voting record out. Final, 213-209 for censure. But interesting, 6 Democrats voted present or no-show. 6 own party couldn't defend you. Post-vote, 3 more Democrats said voted against, cause language too harsh, not cause thought you didn't lie. Set down. Know what House censure takes? Happened 24 times in U.S. history, 24 in 230-plus years, reserved for gross trust breaches, corruption, ethics flops, conduct, dishonor in body. Kennedy hardened. Your 25th ever. Company of bribe takers, staff harassers, office abusers for gain. That's your legacy, Congressman. What year's lion earned. Another doc. But resolution ain't end. Committee spots revoked, yanked from Intel. Your years-long perch, media empire launchpad. Colleagues didn't trust you with secrets. They'd seen you'd lie about 'em for gain. Kennedy leaned. And they were right. Once proven you'll lie classified for politics, who trusts you with U.S. secrets? How brief you when you might CNN misrepresent? How share allies when you leak or twist? Newspaper stack. Editorial pages, including your Russia backers, called resign. Washington Post. Conduct unbecoming Congress member. L.A. Times, hometown. Damaged oversight credibility. New York Times. Published your claim-based stories. Need reckon with misinformation role. Spread clippings. Ain't conservative rags, Congressman. Same papers praised your Trump attacks, but couldn't defend post-truth out. That's how deep you discredited self. Kennedy rose, slight frame authoritative. But here's what really troubles. Through documented lies, falsified evidence, fear profit, whistleblower twist, censure, spot loss, through all, never apologized, never admitted wrong, never showed remorse or self-check. Voice rose. Instead, doubled down. TV called censure badge of honor. Fundraised off. Emails claiming Trump persecuted. Op-eds political retaliation victim, wrote books maintaining innocence, never, not once, said, "Maybe my colleagues censured 'cause I lied to folks." He paced. That's narcissism, Congressman. Self-delusion level genuinely worrisome. Convinced self-hero fighting truth, justice, even as all-round, own party included, peg you liar abusing post for gain. Kennedy halted, voice plea-like. Know what really damages? Not just lied. Politicos do. Not even lied prophet, though Gallon, what galls. Genuine, lasting harm to vital institutions. Softened. Intel committee supposed above politics. Spot where Dems, GOP team for NatSect, 'cause some things trump party. But you wrecked. Turned to career ramp. Leaked classified for narrative. Lied about closed-door intel tells. Now, no one trusts. GOP sees Dem hit squad. Dems see GOP Trump cover. Institution poisoned. You did that. Stronger. Damaged impeachment power. Constitution's ultimate exec check for high crimes, misdemeanors. Used only grave cases, but you cheapened. Orchestrated whistleblower. Lied involvement. Led impeachment on corrupted process. Angry. Now, legit Prez conduct worries. Half country dismisses another Schiff scam. Harder for Congress hold presidents. Shown impeachment politic weaponized. That's legacy. Weakened constitutional safeguards you claimed defendin'. Dock out. Worst damage? Public trust. Gallup poll June 2023. Post-censure. Asks if trust Congress honest exec oversight. Yes, 21%. Not number. Legitimacy crisis. Held poll. Breakdown GOP distrust, 'cause partisan witch hunts like Russia. Dems distrust, 'cause GOP self-protect. Both convinced rigged. You gave evidence both ways. Kennedy whispered. That's why angry, Congressman. Not morning attack, called worse by better. Angry 'cause betrayed sacred. Public trust. Oath. Every American believe in your seen evidence claim. He gathered 5 folders, stacked. Spent 3 years compiling transcripts, videos, trails. Why? Believe accountability. Power holder lying to folks needs holding, not partisan democracy health. Held stack. All here public. No classified spill. No unbacked claims. Every lie, falsify, fear buck, black and white. Set down. So now choice, Congressman. Keep insisting no wrong. Partisan persecute victim. All critics trump toadies. Keep self-telling censure unjust. Spot loss revenge. Resign calls mistaken. Soft. Or tell truth. Admit ambition overrode judgment. Acknowledge Russia claims evidence short. Confess testimony alter to FBI favor. Admit fear profit. Anxiety exploit. Come clean about whistleblower. Pause. Do that. Show humility, remorse, maybe repair damage, restore institution faith. Show even wrongdoers redeem. Kennedy waited. Room silent. All eyes on if Schiff grabbed lifeline. Schiff's face flickered. Maybe fail recognition. 3-year lie-weight crash. Mouth opened. Seemed he'd confess. Seek redeem. Then jaw set. Shoulders square. Voice defiant. Senator Kennedy spent morning crafting narrative to wreck rep. Docs out context. Misrep statements. Elaborate conspiracy for politics. Stand by every intel chair action. Stand by Russia take. Stand by both impeachment conduct. Reject utterly apologizing for constitutional duty. Words echoed like self-damn. Kennedy offered redeem. Schiff picked defiance. Kennedy nodded slow, expected. "So be it," glanced Graham. "Mr. Chairman, no further questions. Request all referenced docs enter record. Folks should access. Judge Truth Self. Graham, without objection, so ordered." Kennedy gathered, deliberate, but Presit turned Schiff one last. "Mornin', you said I rep everything wrong, modern gov. Maybe right. Maybe my doc insist, truth over narrative, belief officials accountable for lies. Old hat, out DC step." Smiled gentle. "But if that's wrong with modern gov, wear as honor badge. Where from? Believe truth matters. Character counts. No good intentions justify lying to folks." With that, John Kennedy exited hearing room, leaving shattered Adam Schiff 5 truth folders to redefine both legacies. The late afternoon sun slanted through Kennedy's Senate office windows, casting long shadows across the worn carpet that had witnessed 3 decades of Louisiana politicians. Kennedy sat at his desk, suit jacket off, tie loosened, looking like a professor after a grueling lecture. Before him lay the 5 manila folders, contents copied, scanned, and dispatched to every major D.C. news outlet. His chief of staff, a sharp young woman from Shreveport with an LSU law degree, knocked on the doorframe. "Senator, phone's ringing off the hook. ABC, CBS, NBC, all want you for evening slots. CNN's offering full hour. And Schiff's office calls every 15 minutes. Kennedy peered over his readers, reviewing what seemed constituent mail. Tell networks thanks, but no. Said what needed. If more, read transcripts. Pause. What Schiff's office want? Won't say. Just Congressman needs urgent talk. Kennedy mulled, shook head. Tell unavailable. Nothing left tween us. All said in hearin'. Chief hesitated. Senator, reactions wild. Social media explodin'. Schiff lied global top. CNN, MSNBC forced cover, though reluctant. Washington Post just dropped editorial call in full Schiff conduct probe. Democrats wagon circle in public, but private? My contacts say furious. Nobody likes defendin' indefensible. Speaker Jeffries apoplectic. Talk forcin' Schiff resign Congress entirely. Kennedy removed glasses, rubbed eyes. That's not aimed. Didn't want to end career. Wanted truth-tellin'. You gave every chance clean come. Did, multiple. Kennedy stood, window-gazed over Capitol grounds. No tragedy. If Schiff admitted mistakes, even today, post all, could salvage. Folks forgive honest slips. Forgive over-ambition. Don't forgive dead-to-rights caught insistin' no wrong. Chief joined. Senator Kennedy, I know'd say ain't your responsibility. Man makes choices. Kennedy smiled slight. Senator Kennedy, you know, learned long ago, just 'cause ain't responsibility don't mean can't feel bad. He turned. What else? Intel community wants meat. Discuss reforms, prevent future abuses. Senator Graham wants expand probe. Talk bringin' other members with similar honesty. Oversight issues. Kennedy shook firm. No, ain't startin' witch hunt. Today ain't revenge or party war. 'Bout accountability for one man's systematic lyin' doin' specific damage. If others need holdin', let colleagues. Chief nodded, recognizing final tone. What tell press about availability? Tell I'll release written statement tonight, nothing more. Kennedy pulled yellow pad, grabbed pen. Now, if excuse, letter to write. After she left, Kennedy sat, pen hovering over paper, pondering words. Finally, wrote careful script. To the people of the United States, this morning I participated in a hearing that I wish had not been necessary. I exposed lies told by a sitting congressman, lies that damaged public trust, corrupted important institutions, and misled millions of Americans about matters of grave national importance. I took no pleasure in this task. Congressman Adam Schiff and I serve in the same government, work in the same city, and take the same oath to support and defend the Constitution. We should be colleagues, even if we disagree about policy. Instead, circumstances forced me to document his systematic dishonesty. But this letter is not about Congressman Schiff. It is about something larger, the crisis of trust that threatens our democracy. When I was young, my mother taught me that telling the truth matters more than being popular, more than being successful, more than winning. She taught me that a man's word is his bond, and that once you've proven yourself a liar, nothing you say can be trusted. I've tried to live by that teaching throughout my life. In recent years, we've seen a troubling trend in American politics. Truth has become negotiable. Facts have become optional. People in positions of great responsibility have discovered that they can lie with impunity, that the news cycle moves so fast that by the time they're proven wrong, everyone has moved on to the next scandal. This cannot continue. A democracy cannot function when its citizens cannot trust what their elected officials tell them. A republic cannot survive when oversight institutions become tools of partisan warfare rather than honest arbiters of truth. What I did today was not partisan politics. I am a Republican, yes, and Congressman Schiff is a Democrat. But the documents I presented were not conservative talking points. They were official transcripts, declassified intelligence assessments, and public records. The lies I exposed were not matters of interpretation. They were definitive claims that were definitively disproven. I would do the exact same thing if a Republican had committed the same offenses. Truth is not partisan. Accountability is not political. My hope, my prayer, is that what happened today will mark a turning point. That other members of Congress, watching one of their colleagues be held accountable for years of dishonesty, will think twice before making claims they cannot support. That journalists will be more skeptical of sensational allegations that lack evidence. That American citizens will demand better from their elected officials. But most of all, I hope that Congressman Schiff himself will take time to reflect on his conduct. It is not too late for redemption. It is not too late to admit mistakes, to seek forgiveness, to commit to doing better. Some of the greatest figures in American history were people who made serious errors, acknowledged them, and grew from the experience. The path to redemption begins with truth, not spin, not justification, not deflection. Truth, simple, difficult, humbling truth. I believe in redemption because I believe in the capacity of human beings to change, to grow, to become better versions of themselves. I've seen it happen in courtrooms and churches, in small towns and big cities. I've seen people who've done terrible things find their way back to decency. But redemption requires the one thing that seems in shortest supply in modern Washington: humility. Can we, as a nation, rediscover that virtue? Can our leaders model the kind of honest self-reflection that we hope to see in our children? Can we create a political culture where admitting error is seen as strength rather than weakness? I don't know. But I know this: we have to try. Because the alternative, a politics of permanent deception, where truth is whatever can be made to trend, where accountability exists only for the powerless, that alternative is unsustainable. Today was painful, necessary, but painful. I took no joy in exposing a colleague's lies, but I took even less joy in contemplating what would happen if those lies went unchallenged, if the American people continued to be deceived, if bad behavior went unpunished simply because the perpetrator was skilled at deflection and performance. So I did what needed to be done. I presented evidence. I asked questions. I demanded answers. And when those answers were not forthcoming, I let the documents speak for themselves. That is how oversight is supposed to work. That is how democracy is supposed to function. Not perfectly, not without pain, but honestly, with a commitment to truth that transcends partisan advantage. I hope Congressman Schiff finds his way to that truth. I hope all of us, myself included, commit ourselves more fully to honesty in all our dealings. And I hope the American people will continue to demand nothing less from those they elect to represent them. Truth matters, character counts, and democracy depends on both. Respectfully, Senator John Kennedy, Louisiana. He reviewed twice, tweaked minor, called chief back. Type up, release to press, release to, then home. Long day. Senator, sure, no TV. Sure, said needed. Now home, call wife, recall life's more than D.C. politics. Chief took letter, door pause. For worth, proud work for you. Today took courage. Kennedy smiled gentle. No, took evidence, patience. Courage's whistleblowers forward knowing careers might wreck. Courage's journalists publish in truth, powerful, want buried. Today, just my job. After leave, Kennedy gathered folders, briefcase. I caught desk frame, him sworn senator, Bible hand, wife beside. Recalled oath wait, moment solemn, promise defend Constitution. Well, Lord, soft to empty office, tried keep promise today, hope enough. 3 floors below, cramped office sends past power trappings, Adam Schiff sat solo. Staff fled hours back, dodging disgrace taint. Phone dark, off-post Twitter storm, follower plunge. Speaker Jeffries text Boylan to, "You're solo." Computer screen. Draft resign statement. Lawyers 3 paras claimin' health. Thankin' constituents. Maintaining integrity. Standard poll non-apology. Career end minimal wrong admit. Finger hover send. But something halted. Last shred pre-ambition. Camera fee self. Man enter service make difference. Serve bigger. Voice truth. Justice. When that man vanish? When become 73 lie no shame guy. When decide cause justify means. Greater good excuse. Deceive. Couldn't pinpoint. Gradual, he supposed. Principle erode slow. Compromise creep. Till unrecognizable decade back. Kennedy's words de-echo. Not too late redemption. Was, though, man systematic public profitable, lie ever reclaim trust, ever eye kids honest, say served integrity. Schiff deleted lawyer draft. Slow, painful, typed own. To the people of California's 28th District and to all Americans, I owe you an apology. Today, Senator John Kennedy presented evidence that I made statements about the Russia investigation that were not supported by the underlying intelligence I had seen. He showed that I claimed to have evidence of collusion when the intelligence professionals I questioned under oath said no such evidence existed. He demonstrated that I altered the tone and emphasis of my memo about FISA abuses in ways that were misleading. He was right. His hands shook, tears blurring, but he pressed. I convinced myself that I was fighting for something important. holding a dangerous president accountable, protecting our democracy from foreign interference, defending our institutions. Those were real concerns, legitimate concerns. But somewhere along the way, I allowed those concerns to justify behavior that was wrong. I made claims on television that went beyond what the evidence supported. I presented assessments as facts when they were really opinions. I allowed my certitude about Trump's unfitness for office to lead me to speak with certainty about things I could not prove. This was wrong. I misled the American people. I exploited your trust for political purposes. And I am profoundly sorry. I could offer excuses, the pressure of the moment, the genuine threat I believed Trump posed, the intensity of political polarization. But excuses are not the same as reasons, and neither excuses nor reasons can undo the damage I did to public trust. Senator Kennedy was also correct that I had advanced knowledge of the Ukraine whistleblower complaint and was not fully forthcoming about that knowledge. I believed I was protecting the whistleblower and following proper procedure, but I should have been more transparent with the American people about my office's involvement. I am announcing today that I will not seek re-election. This is not because I am being forced out, though I understand many would prefer that I resign immediately. This is because I need time away from politics to reflect on how I lost my way, and because the people of California deserve a representative whose integrity is not in question. I will serve out my term, working on constituent services and avoiding the media spotlight that I once courted so eagerly. I will use this time to make amends where possible, and to learn the lessons I should have learned long ago about humility, honesty, and the limits of certainty. I failed you. I failed myself. And I failed the ideals I claimed to champion. I am sorry. I hope that, in time, my acknowledgement of these failures might contribute in some small way to a political culture where admitting error is possible, where leaders are judged not just by their worst moments, but by their willingness to grow from them. But I understand if that hope is unrealistic. I understand if my apology comes too late and costs me too little. I understand if you cannot forgive me. All I can do now is tell the truth, even though the truth condemns me. Perhaps, especially because it condemns me. I was wrong. I am sorry, and I will try to do better. Sincerely, Adam B. Schiff, Member of Congress. He read thrice, finger over delete, then hit send. And it would cost everything. Cozy retirement, fat book deals, cushy speaking circuit. Defenders ditch, enemies say apology short, both likely right, but true. And that, he realized with odd peace, mattered. In his office 3 floors above, John Kennedy's phone buzzed alert. Pulled out, read Schiff's statement, felt chest tension release. Good, soft, that's good. Wasn't full redemption, not yet. But truth, and truth, Kennedy learned lifetime, where redemption always started. He gazed Capitol one last time, pre-home. Building glowed evening light, solid, enduring, monument to self-gov possible if good faith folks worked honest. Keep working at it, Kennedy murmured, then flicked light, headed airport. Had crawfish catch, grandkids teach. And both, he thought, heaps more vital than D.C. ought. The bayou called him home.